Hello, just getting ready for my trip to Hobart. It's going to rain. Welcome to lesson 65. My name's Ella and we need our learning books. Okay, let's do a quick recap of last lesson. It was our questionnaire and I have an example here from a young boy called Ollivander, and here are his responses. Okay, you might like to read those and think about how they may be similar or different to your responses. When Ollivander finished his questionnaire, he added some other questions, which were, you might like to answer these out loud. Is your bedroom tidy or messy? What is your favourite lesson at school? Can you ride a bike? What do you wear to school? And how many people are in your family? So we've collected a lot of data from one person using a survey. And remember, data offers us statements and questions. Okay, let's move on to today's lesson. And as a warm-up, we're having one last game of Flipper. Now, Flipper is a great game because you can make up so many different ways of playing it. But today's Flipper is going to be, let's add to 20. So what's my card? How many more to 20? Remember, ace is 1. So if I pull out an ace, 1, how many more to 20? My answer is 19, bridge to 20, well done. 10, how many more to 20? 10. 8, how many more to 20? 12. 9 and 11 make 20. 1 and 19, 8 and 12. Good repetition there. Now, the king, remember the king is worth 13. So here's a good question for you. 13 and what make 20? Well, I know 3 and 7 make 10. So 13 and 7 make 20. 4 and 16, 6 and 14, 12, the queen is 12, 12 and 8 make 20. So I hope you can play that game as your warm-up where you are ready to talk about numbers and the wonderful world of maths. Today's learning intention is to describe outcomes or events as likely or unlikely or certain or impossible. Okay, so they're the 4 words that we're going to get very good at using, and we're going to be using some other words to help us work out what chance means. So we'll know what we can do with this when we can classify outcomes and events according to how likely they are to happen using this language of chance. Chance is the likelihood that some event will occur or will happen, all right? So, just like I started, weather people help us make predictions. So I am likely to bring my brolly, my umbrella with me if I know it's going to be raining. So sometimes I listen to the weather forecast, they're predicting what's likely to happen, and they might tell me today it's going to be very hot, today it's going to be windy or raining, and I like to listen to that to make sure that I think about what I'm going to do that day, what I'm going to wear, and how much time I'm going to spend outside. Okay, now let's think about those words and some of the ways we can use them. So today I have got a rope, and we're going to use this as a continuum. Okay, so we're going to think about what might be, and I help use these words for our vocab, what might be impossible, what might be certain, what's likely to happen, and what's unlikely. So these are the 4 main words we'll use today. So to help me talk to you today about chance, the likelihood that things will happen, I'd like some help from a coin and a spinner, a couple of spinners and a dice. So this is going to help me explain to you these words and some others. So you might know that we like to flip coins sometimes, and we're going to flip a coin, and so we'll call heads or we'll call tails. And we can do lots of charts experiments with coins. So if I do flip this coin, and I can see that this is a tails. The head is, of course, Queen Elizabeth II. We've talked about that when we've talked about money. So you can see that I have tails here. Okay, so what was the likelihood that I was going to flip a head or a tail? Let's consider that. I have one outcome or another. One outcome or another. And we call this, and I'll add this to our continuum, we call this an even chance. I have an even chance of it being a head or a tail. Just because I flipped a head or a tail one time won't influence, it won't change what happens next. So just again, if I flip this coin, a tail. Let's try again. If I flip this coin, I have a head. And each time it's an even chance. It won't matter what I've flipped before, and it won't matter what I've flipped after. It is an even chance. I have one of two outcomes possible. Okay, so that's what happens when I flip a coin, an even chance. Okay, let's have a look at a spinner. Now, interestingly enough, I can spin this spinner with a statement such as, what is the likelihood that my spinner will land on green? What do you think? I think it's certain. It's certain that my spinner will land on a part that is green because all of these parts are green. Let me ask you another question. What's the chance or likelihood that my spinner will land on red? Yes, red. Well, that, my friends, is impossible. There's no red on my spinner. So we've had a look at certain and impossible, and let's have a quick look again. What do you think I might be asking here? We've got half. Yes, we've done some fractions. Half of my circle or on my spinner is white and half is yellow. So if I spin the spinner and ask this question, what's the likelihood or chance that the spinner will land on white? What's your answer? I hope it's even chance. Let's have a look. It did. And if I spin again, it won't matter the result from the last time or the first time. It will be even chance each and every time. Okay, great listening. Let's have a look at the dice now. Here's a question for you. What's the likelihood that I will roll a 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 when I roll my dice? What's the likelihood? Good question. Yeah. Here are our choices to start with. Which one are we going to pick? What's the likelihood I'll roll a 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5? What are the possible outcomes? There's 6, isn't there? So it's likely I will roll a 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5. Let's have a look and see. I rolled a 5. It was likely that I did that. Okay, let's flip the question. What's the chance or likelihood that I'll roll a 6? I've got 5 possible outcomes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I've got 1 possible outcome, that's 6. So if I was to use the language of chance, I would use unlikely. Let's have a look. It is unlikely, okay? It's not impossible, but was unlikely. So, coins, spinners, and dice all help us to think about chance and the likelihood of things happening. Right, so let's have a look at some other words that we use in chance. And we'll put them along our continuum. So the next word is probably. This is probably going to happen. Where would I place that? I think probably is just another word for likely. This is probably or likely going to happen. You might have heard that one before. What about the next one? Yes. Is this going to happen? Yes, it is. That sounds like it's certain. Okay, that might be my spinner that's all yellow. Will it land on yellow? Yes, it will. It's certain. Okay, a small chance. There's a small chance of me rolling a 6 on my dice. So it's not impossible, is it? But there's a small chance. It might be unlikely. Yes, it's possible. That's an interesting one, isn't it? It's possible. It's not telling me it won't or will, it's possible. So we might call that also an even chance. It's possible, we're not sure. Fairly likely. Likely, probably, fairly likely. This will happen. What does that sound like? It's certain. Yes, this will happen. An example, I will roll either a head or a tail. I'll either have a head or a tail. It will happen. It might happen. It might happen. It's possible. It's an even chance. It's not really telling me one way or the other. Maybe. That's another one. I'm not sure. Maybe. Couple more. This won't happen. Sounds like it's impossible. This won't happen. And our last one, no. So the question might be, will I roll a 9 on my 6-sided dice? No, there are no 9s. So no. Okay, so this is some of the words we use when we talk about chance. All right, so let's continue our thinking about chance and the likelihood of things that can happen with some statements. You might enjoy these statements. Let's mix them up a little bit and see where we can put these as well. Okay, let's start with the first statement. I will live on the moon one day. I think today that would be impossible. A tadpole would turn into a frog. Well, if it's going to turn into anything, it's a frog. So let's say that that's certain. I will play a game of football on Adelaide Oval. Now, I don't think that's impossible. Might be a bit of Oz kick, or it might be just a kick on the oval. So I think we'll put that here. Probably very unlikely, but not impossible. I will look at a screen this week. Well, if you're looking at me now, let's say it's very likely you'll be looking at a screen at some stage this week. It will rain in summer. Well, it's unlikely, but it does happen, doesn't it? So we might pop that one here on our continuum. People need to breathe air to live. That's certain. A large dog will eat more than a small dog. I think that will happen. An elephant will come out of an egg. I think that's impossible. If today is Wednesday, it will be Friday tomorrow. Well, my friends, that is impossible, because what comes after Wednesday? Thank you, Thursday. You will hear birds chirping in the morning. Well, that's likely, isn't it? A fish will swim. I haven't heard of a fish that can't swim, have you? A ball will roll up a hill. Now, my friends, that's just physics. That's impossible to run up a hill, isn't it? A ball, it runs down. And a lovely last one, Christmas will be on December the 25th. And that is certain. Okay, and we'll all be looking forward to it. So there we have it. We have the language of chance, how we can talk about impossible or unlikely, an even chance, we're not sure what will happen, it's likely or it's certain, and we've been able to match some statements that go with it. So lots of learning today. Let's get to our learning task for you and your learning book. So I'm going to take away all but 5 words. Okay, and it's these 5 words I would like you to write in your learning book. Okay, remember we go from impossible, unlikely, an even chance, fair chance, likely and certain. I'd like you to write those headings in your learning book and then write some possible events and things, some statements like you've just seen that can fit underneath these things. Okay, so consider what the chance or likelihood of certain events that may happen. And that brings me to the end of lesson 65. Who would have thought that was likely? But here we are, and I have very much enjoyed sharing my teaching and your learning with you. I'd like to say thank you to my friends Jenny and Loretta for always helping me, and I wish you many enjoyable moments with your learning. You are all powerful mathematicians, and I hope you can see that it's lots of fun thinking about how maths works in our world. And I hope to see you somewhere to say g'day to at some stage. Bye for now.